Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Here we go! It's another episode of the MagNet Podcast! Let's go! I am Ben Magnet, and I had something else, but my brain is like, hey, you spent well over 14 hours at a certain park yesterday. Your brain is fried.
That's okay. You were supposed to say hot labor summer.
It's a hot labor summer!
Thank you, Mario.
Everybody deserves a living wage.
Yes, they do!
All right, Ben, introduce us.
I am here with my bros, Brandon T. McClure.
Hello, hi.
Ryan Ethiopoulos.
Wow, Ladio's a scab.
And of course, making a little cameo today is Sparks Witty.
Yes. Everybody be on strike. I love it.
Yeah, Sparks is only going to be with us temporarily, so we've got big things before. We do have some links in the description. However, we need to talk before we do that. The show is going to pivot. If you've seen our Twitter account or our Instagram account, very quiet this week because SAG released new guidelines for podcasters, specifically people who are SAG members working in podcast spaces, but also for people who do a show like this, who do a show like what we do. So for solidarity reasons, because we believe in what SAG and the WGA are fighting for, we are no longer going to be talking about any of the Struck Studios content. So
Movies
we're not going to be doing.
don't exist anymore.
For all intents and purposes, movies don't exist anymore. They're all gone.
What movies?
So specifically movies and television that relate to American media. This does not contain like Godzilla -1, for example. We could probably still review that when that is out in December. But for things like Oppenheimer or something
Teenage
Haunted
Mutant Ninja
Mansion.
Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, even though that is animated and would fall under the tag, that is still Sony, which is a Struck studio.
And it's filled with SAG members, even if it is animation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to withhold our reviews and our discussions of that, which also impacts our news that we'll talk about today, and we'll talk about for the foreseeable future. We will not be talking about movie announcements or writing announcements or even
Casting.
trailers. Casting.
Unless it has to do with the strikes, in
Yeah.
which case we will contextualize it related to that.
Yes, and we do have strike news in the news, so we will talk about that. But if it does not relate to the strike, we will not be talking about it anymore. So, what does this impact specifically? Obviously, this show will probably not be on such a regular basis, going every week. We might be pushing it to every other week. We're still kind of testing the waters, seeing what we're going to do. But for the time being, as the strike, this show will be impacted as well. But we will be withholding Big Nerds Watch, the real score, even though that was already kind of behind on a few things. The real score will be posted.
Man, I gotta tell you, like, Mask of Zorro was gonna come out this week. Like,
Was it?
That's not me like bluffing. That's me like I had the final export ready and I was gonna upload it and make sure our content cleared, and then it was like you can't do anything, and I'm like, okay, never mind. We're just hiatus.
So the real score, so Fake Nerds Watch, miscellaneous in regards to the Indiana Jones stuff that we were doing. That stuff is going to be withheld as well. In some cases, Animation Station, there are some animated projects we might be able to still talk about. We need to kind of look through that stuff. And Cinephiles, in regards to like, we may be able to do Talk to Me, for example, which is an A24 film, which has a contract with SAG to continue promoting and film during this. But we're going to make sure to look at that before we do. So stay tuned for maybe that. But everything else, we will not release during the strike.
Yep.
The other thing is, oh yes, okay. So yeah, I wanted to say this. Look, I get it. This sucks, but we started this podcast because we wanted to talk about these things. That's all we wanted to do, is talk about movies and television shows that we love. But the thing is, and in fairness, like, SAG is not telling non-union people to. They're not demanding us to do this, but they are saying to be in solidarity, and we are. We support them 100%. We want them to get these deals because we don't talk about these things because we love Disney. We don't talk about these things because we love David Zaslav. We talk about these things, Bob Iger. We talk about these things because we love the actors and we love the writers. We love the directors. We love the artistry of this.
Yeah, if I can just real quick, we all, once the guidelines were out, we all felt like going forward with our discussions and reviews felt like crossing the picket line. In a way that felt icky to us because we're very much, as Brandon said, on the side of it. So I think we're making the right call. And if I can, Brandon, what I will say is like we've determined how we're going to move the schedule forward for things. Certain shows, if you've been keeping up with Strange New Worlds, for example, on our Fake Nerds Watch, or some of the big films that we are very excited to talk about, like Mutant Mayhem for TMNT, we will talk about those, and they'll be just released when the strikes are over. We're so that we're not like caught in a backlog later down the road. We're recording them privately, and we won't share them until the strikes are over.
Because like the strikes can end in a month. It could be 6 months. It could be like we really don't know. So like I don't want to like, hey, let's talk about TMNT 9 months from now. And I'm like, that's I don't remember that movie.
But it also means that behind the scenes, we're being a little bit selective about what we are going to be doing. Like Strange New Worlds one, I said, I know we're doing Mutant Mayhem. So those things will come out eventually. When the strikes are over, you'll see them from us. But we will not hit probably as many movies and TV shows because we're going to try to put more emphasis now on book club and our basement arcade. So basically our comics and our video game material are going to increase
my loves
in the absence of our movie and television discussion.
Yeah.
And our babies, they will live on harder and stronger than ever.
Yeah.
That's the thing of what we're deciding to kind of take beneficial from this, which is that we can really focus on Fic Nerd Book Club. We've recently made a big change to the podcast, so I get that making another big change like 2 weeks after is jarring. And we made this big change to move Book Club out of the podcast and talk about it on its own feed, and this will give us more of a chance to do that. So you will see more emphasis on Fic Nerd Book Club. You will see more emphasis on Basement Arcade and Basement Arcade Pause Menu. My show Conversation, that is not impacted either, so the season will come out as scheduled. So there are still things that we can do and things that we're really excited about sharing with you guys. But as Spark said, some of these movies and television discussions will be withheld till after the strike. Regardless of when that strike ends, we are not going to be releasing it during the strike.
Right. And there's a couple of things looking ahead that we're kind of just thinking about. What can we do that's not part of it? As Brandon suggested, like Talk to Me. We're going to be looking at opportunities where we can actively talk about something that's not part of the struck content and get that out. But overall, we're in full support. So we're just going to trudge on and keep our show here focused on comic news, video game news, and discussions around what's happening with the strike.
Sounds like Ben's going to be watching RRR soon.
It does sound like Ben might be watching RRR soon.
It does. It sounds like I will. And you know what? I am very excited to watch that movie.
And so, like things like RRR. Now, again, let me just say, let me just kind of finish. I thought I was starting earlier. Like, you know, it sucks if you're listening to the show, if you're watching the show. But like, the blame isn't on the actors and the writers. Like, I would love to talk about the Gamer Rebirth trailer that dropped at Comic-Con. Like, I would love to talk about that, but it's Netflix. And I don't want to cross that picket line. But what I can do is celebrate the Gamera trilogy with you guys. That was released by Daiei in the 90s, so I could possibly do that. And so, like, the thing is, like, we have always been here to celebrate the creators who make the things that we love, and not the studios that are trying to force them to lose their homes. And this is how we show that solidarity, and that's very important to us.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, so changes are coming. Again, be sure to check out our social medias, our website. I've updated our Fake Nerd family page where it has all of our shows. that is updated with what shows are on hiatus due to the strike. So if you have any more questions, reach out, ask us, and check out that website. I'll keep that updated as much as I can. So you guys we will keep our audience in the loop about all that. So okay. But that said, there are some links in the description when we talk about those. Speaking of the strikes, all the strike links that I think there's 4 or 5 down there now. The WGA strike information, the SAG strike information, the SAG proposal information, and 2 donation links to help with the strike efforts. This is striking is very difficult. It's very disruptive. You are choosing not to get paid for a better life is essentially what's happening. And so helping them out and donating what you can is important at this time, especially in LA, which is 100 degrees. We're seeing the hottest summer on record.
It's a hot labor summer, but like it is a hot
truly
labor summer.
Emphasis on the hot.
Yeah. Hot is all capitalized, underlined, in bold lettering. So, or bold
in
font.
Multiple meanings.
Yeah.
So that's linked below. So please check out that information. Please donate if you can. I know we're a small podcast with a small reach, but it's important, guys.
Yeah.
But fun things are in the description now, because we've got some things in the description, such as my CBR articles. I think one of them came up this week. I kind of lost track because it was a busy week, but check that out. Conversation episode 7 is out with the entire cast of D and Dark. I finally was able to put that one out. It's my longest episode of Conversation this season, clocking in at almost 2 hours. I pitched it to Dan as 45 minutes, and that was a mistake.
Too many people.
But yeah, listening to it back, I've been really nervous about the episode. I've been really self-conscious about it because it was such a big ask for myself. I had never interviewed that many people before. And so I was kind of dragging my feet. Oh my God, maybe this didn't work. Like I felt good in the moment, but like maybe it didn't sound good afterwards. I'm actually happy to say that I didn't ask all the questions I wish I did, but I got a lot of good stuff out of them. They're a really great bunch of people, and I mean Ben too. I don't mean to speak about them in the past tense because you're here, but your gang of people are really cool, and it was a really fun conversation, and you guys clearly love each other. I recorded that, I think, after you guys had released episode 5.
I think so, yeah, because
it's been a while.
When we recorded that, it was very early on in our campaign, and our bond, the 5 or 6 of us, has just gotten stronger.
Yeah, I'd really like to get them on individually, maybe for the next season, for a conversation. But it was a really good conversation. I really enjoyed talking to them, and I hope the episode turned out as good as I think it did.
I haven't listened to it yet, but I definitely will, and I'm 100% sure that it was. Because after I was done recording it, I love going on Conversation. I love talking about this kind of thing. And the fact that everyone else was there, and we did talk about it in our Discord, and they're like, man, that was so much fun. That was a great time. So I know for a fact that we all had a great time recording that episode, Brandon.
I appreciate that, actually, more than you know. But Ben, continue talking, because D and Dark episode 36 dropped this week.
Yeah.
Pop goes the weasel.
Oh, Pop goes the weasel.
Come on, it's your show, bro. I know.
No, because I did not hear everything what Spark said, but yeah, Pop Goes the Weasel Part 2, one of the penultimate episodes before a mid-season finale, and the second we found out that our bag of holding this whole time was a cursed item, we were so mad.
That was really funny because Dan was like, this whole time, you guys didn't know this.
I know about the bag of holding thanks to Critical Role, because they have one. It's just like, because the whole time, every time we reach into the bag and downstage, just like roll a d20, and we're like, why? For the longest time, I was like, why are we always rolling a d20? A bag of holding is you just reach in, you think about what you want to grab, and you pull it out. It's in, out, you're done. And for as long as we've had that thing and rolled over a 10, not activating the bag of weasels.
The
It was-
the Vortenberg thing.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
he
when
brought
he-
that up, he's like, "Y'all been putting that in and out of that bag like nobody's business."
The amount of times it's like, wow, you really lucky.
it was like one of those things where it's like we've been doing this for so long, and what have we done? Like, imagine if we pulled Vortenberg's lantern out and he turned into a weasel.
That would have like,
Oh.
what would it have done to that campaign? Oh my
yeah,
god.
right.
I don't know, but that's just the beauty of D&D. As much as the dungeon master might want to try and put things into a specific direction, as much as the players might think that a thing is going to go a certain way, or I can't tell you how many times it's like, oh, I think I have a good plan. I'm going to do this. It's going to be so cool. It's going to look so sick. Not one. And it just goes completely off the rails.
Yeah, anybody
It is-
anybody keeping up with the show has
I was like,
caught
we-
all the
oh,
times
yeah.
that Ben has done this.
Yeah, but hey, there have been a few times where
I'd
it
like
worked
to
out
sharpen the
perfectly.
spear in acid.
Yeah.
Well, it was
Yeah.
really funny. So listening to the conversation episode back, there was a moment where I was where we were talking about it, and you guys, I guess, had just done your Night at the Museum campaign when you came on to record that, and so Ben was like, "Oh, we just did something. I'm so excited for Brandon to see."
Mhm.
So it was fun to kind of piece that together.
Yeah. I mean, I have done moments like sharpen my spear and stuff like acid, but I've had amazing moments such as Chris Pratting a T-Rex and then writing said T-Rex. That was awesome.
But Dan put a teaser trailer for the 4-part mid-season finale starting next week, and it's a very good teaser trailer. Like that dude can edit.
Oh my god, you guys are not ready for that.
Every week.
I'm still suffering from the emotional trauma of
You know
what
what?
happened in that
You
session.
know what, Ben? I am ready.
Okay.
All right, Ben.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to keep talking and talk about going to Super Mario Land?
Hell yes, I
Oh,
do.
real quickly, all those links down in the description. Check them out. Great stuff. Go ahead, Ben.
Check them out. Guys, I finally did it. I have been wanting to go since this thing opened up in February. I finally went to Super Nintendo World. I got the power band to prove it. And my friends, I have thoughts.
Oh,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I have thoughts. Now, overall, I think Super Nintendo World does its job of immersing you in the world of Mario, and essentially the entire land is just one giant video game. And it brings that, and every single person visiting this land is a player in that video game, whether they know it or not. And I love that about this land. There are so many things in there that wait, what?
He said it's like a threat.
Oh, yeah.
You're all part of the game.
You're
Jigsaw.
Well, thankfully, no one dies in this game, but
Sure.
it never strives away from the fact that this is obviously it's based on video games, and this is a video game, and you are immersed. Just opening in, you guys saw my video. I posted that video of me walking into it on my Instagram, and I'll put it as like a regular Instagram post today because I took so many freaking pictures. My God. I am way behind on posting stuff. So yeah, Ben Magnet 27 if you want to see all the photos from Super Nintendo World yesterday. It did feel like I was Alan Grant looking at the Brachiosaur for the first time. I know I've seen pictures, just seeing it alive, just seeing everything moving. And it looked even better at night. When it was all lit up, the POW blocks were lit up, the question blocks were lit up. It was absolutely gorgeous, and it was just beautiful. And if you've ever loved and played the Mario games as a kid or even today, it just brings out a childlike wonder, a childlike excitement. It's like I am physically and literally in a world that I've only dreamed about playing in since I was a kid. It's kind of like when you go to Galaxy's Edge for the very first time. I will definitely say Super Nintendo World is about on par, maybe really a little bit below the immersion level that Galaxy's Edge is at Disneyland. It is that good.
Yeah.
I mean, I do say that even though to enjoy most of Super Nintendo World, you do have to cough up the $40 for the power-up bands. It is a little scummy that you have to have a paywall, But these things are really, really fun. It's really fun to just walk around and just seeing people just see question blocks and just taking the power bombs and just hitting the blocks like Mario does and getting the coins. And
As I understand it, Ben, real quickly, as I
Mm-hmm.
understand it, there are activities all throughout the land, but that can only be accessed with the power band.
Exactly. You can't
Right.
but here's the cool thing. As long as one person, there are a few activities in there that as long as one person in your party has a power-up band, you could still play them. You're playing with them as a guest. There's about 2 games in Super Nintendo World that while people who don't have a power-up band, they can still play with the person who does. So like say we all if all 4 of us go and none of you guys want the power-up band, but you want to help me with the piranha napping game, you can. That is 100% allowed. As long as one person has a power-up band, we can all go and enjoy that. But there are 2 ones that you have to have that's like a one player only sort of game.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
All the games are very easy. They're very fun. I would say my favorite is the Thwomp one where you just have to change the colors on the panel, change the panels to a certain color within a time limit. And that one's mostly fun because it's inside, it's enclosed, and you have air conditioning a lot. You have the air conditioning all blast, which is really nice. Besides that, the thoughts I have about the land itself, I keep telling myself this is like, we don't have a lot of space at Universal Studios Hollywood. So, of course, we get what we have. They do the best with what we can. But, of course, there are parts of it where I'm like, man, there's some spaces in the land where there's really nothing much there. I just wanted a little bit more. And I understand what we have. I'm happy with what we have. But it's just like, man, because I know in Japan they have like a few more areas. There's a few more underground stuff to explore. There's a few more things because you could walk through the whole thing in less than an hour and do a whole bunch of stuff there. And it's like, okay,
Yeah,
well, what else?
Orlando's they're building their 3rd Universal Park
Mhm.
in Orlando, and it will include a Donkey Kong area.
Yes, yeah. Japan is building theirs right now. When Orlando opens, it's going to have their Donkey Kong expansion already. And because obviously I'm writing about this for Fusion Gaming Magazine, Go Nintendo, and OSG. And I had a hunch, and my hunch proved correct, that if you're planning on a very big vacation to go to Super Nintendo World, save your money and wait until Orlando opens. If you were already planning on going to Los Angeles, then go check out Super Nintendo World. But don't make a big trip just to go to Super Nintendo World in LA because you might be disappointed.
I mean, it is tied to Universal Studios, so you can also just go to Universal Studios, right?
Yeah, very, very true. I mean, Universal Studios, it's always that's a fun park to go to. Don't get me wrong, but if you're
it's considerably bigger,
yeah. But the one in Orlando is a lot bigger, and if you're willing to spend a whole lot of money, I would definitely wait for Orlando. Or even if you're willing to spend even more, go to Japan.
Can I ask a question about the park?
Yes.
How is the ride?
Oh.
Don't spoil or anything, but like
no.
Was it?
As of right now, that is my favorite ride at Universal Studios.
Really?
It is
big challenge there.
Yeah, I know, not a big challenge there, but
the one roller coaster and the mini drops.
Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge is definitely one of the cool, and it is one of the most coolest and interactive rides I've ever been on. I would say that they really did the augmented reality very well, and you feel like you're on a Mario Kart. It's the way they did it is that you truly feel like you are in a Mario Kart race. I mean, you're not going at breakneck speeds, but it does give you the feeling of I'm playing Mario Kart in real life. I'm going through a bunch of the different racetracks IRL, and it's so cool. And the way you're like looking around, you're shooting shells at the bad guys. And it's fun. It is really, really fun. And the augmented reality, it doesn't make, to me, I wasn't dizzy at all. It doesn't act, because the way they do it is that all the Mario Karts, they attach the visors to the seat. And when you get your little cap, like the little, the cap thing to attach the visors to it, those caps are surprisingly very comfortable. They are very easy to adjust. They fit snugly on your head. Or you could adjust how snug or how unsnug you want them to be on your head. They are surprisingly very comfortable to wear. And then when you put the visor back on, you could adjust it to have like the visor like lower or higher on your head So of course your eyesight can see where, and like when you look down, you have your coin counter and your shell counter. And it's like, all right, cool. So it's like if you run out of ammo, you can look down quickly and see how much you have, or how much you have gained in coins, and how many shells you have. And it's a little tricky at first because when you're playing, because obviously you want to steer, and there are parts of the game where you'll see an arrow and you have to move your steering wheel in the direction of the arrow, and if you do it in time and correctly, then you get coins for it. So essentially, even though it's on a fixed track, it still's like, hey, if you do this correctly, then you get coins. Because the whole goal of the game, because it's a game, it's a ride that is also a video game, you have to get 100 coins to beat Team Bowser. And the sets look amazing. That's just, the whole thing is like, the attention to detail is great. But I will say I did get lost in the game where I wasn't able to enjoy the dark ride aspects of it. There were times where it's like, it was really hard for me to enjoy like the surrounding set of the dark ride. Because like right when you get off, there's you could hear a chain chomp, but the chain chomp and the piranha plant animatronics look fantastic. Once again, pulled straight out of the video game. And I'm just like, oh, the parts where I saw was like, oh, wow, this is so cool. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, wait, there goes Lemmy. I got to hit him with the shell. Because you want to like throw shells at the Koopalings.
Right. But you can't just completely sit and enjoy it.
No, you can't. I mean, you could, but then you won't get any coins. And here's the thing about Super Nintendo World that I actually really, really enjoy. So you guys know that on rides like Smuggler's Run at Disneyland, where no matter what you do, there's like the end result is always the same. Like maybe there's like a little bit of a dialogue change, maybe here and there, whether how well or how bad you did, but the end result will always be the same. In Bowser's Challenge, you could lose. In all the video games in Super Nintendo World, you could technically lose. And if you don't do the game, or if you don't beat the game, they will say, okay, well, you don't die. You just don't get the key.
They just show up with a shotgun, just like blow you in the face.
It's like that static GIF where it's like, shh, no witnesses. You could lose. Like in the mini games, because the mini games you need to get the keys to go to Bowser Jr.'s castle. And you can lose. You can technically lose, but the only punishment is you just have to go back in line and try it again. Whereas in Bowser's Challenge, instead of seeing like, yeah, Team Mario wins, you guys won, it'll say Team Bowser won, and you'll just sit there in shame. It's like, I lost to Bowser. This sucks.
Does it do the Bowser laugh?
I don't know. Thankfully, in all my races, we won because we were actually able to go on the ride 3 times yesterday.
So the equivalent would be like if you could crash the Millennium Falcon in Smuggler's Run, which you can't do.
Yeah. Essentially, I mean, you go through the race, but instead of like seeing like, yeah, Team Mario wins, it'll say Team Bowser won, and it'll be like, yeah, Bowser won. Sorry guys, you gotta try again. Get back.
Sorry, kiddos. Eat shit.
I'm really glad you got to go, Ben.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for you.
Yeah. I want to say my favorite bit of don't get me wrong, Bowser's Challenge, fantastic. I even got like a t-shirt with the little thingy on it.
Sure.
Because it's just, that ride is just so, it is a ride it's a ride that's a video game, and it's a video game that's a ride, and I highly, 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 highly enjoyed it. Good. One of the other things that a lot of people, I think they don't know about Super Nintendo World is the video games, and because we were in line for the Thwomp panel switch, and there was someone there was a team member who actually had to stick their head out and said, guys, I need you all to realize this is a game. It's not a ride. This is a game. You need to have one person in your party needs to have the power-up band to play this game. If one person has it, then you can still enjoy and play it, but this is a game. It's not a ride.
We need you to spend $40 or you can't play this game.
That
sucks.
Does suck.
That sucks.
Yeah.
It's big. It sounds like big, like Comic-Con energy. What's this line for? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but once like some people heard that.
Sorry, just the fact that like you can't like I get the other parts of the land, but that you can't do the ride and engage with it unless you have a power band. That sucks.
Oh no, you could go on Bowser's Challenge and not have a power band. That doesn't affect you. That doesn't matter.
Right.
Like the only thing or not the only thing, but the biggest thing in Super Nintendo World being Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, you don't need to have a power band to enjoy the ride. You just won't get the coin. You just won't get the coins you accumulated to help on the leaderboards.
I think you phrased that in a way where it sounded like you can't play the game elements on the ride if you don't have a power band.
No. The I was talking about like the games to get the keys to go inside Bowser Jr.'s castle.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because the Thwomp game, one person, it's the game you need to get one of the keys, and that line was like, hey, you guys need to have a power-up band to enjoy or one person in your party needs to have a power band because this is for a key. If no one in your party has a power band, then you're just gonna come in here for nothing.
Okay, there's missing context there.
Yeah, because you need a power band to tap the thing to start the game. But yeah, for Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, you don't need a power band at all.
And what is Bowser Jr.'s castle?
So there's a storyline for Super Nintendo World, like when you go through the main warp pipe and you go into Peach's castle, there's two paintings on either side, one of Bob on Battlefield, one of the Goombas, and essentially the golden mushroom was stolen by Bowser Jr., and Bowser Jr. hid the golden mushroom in his castle, and you need to go, and if you have a power-up band, you need to go and play at least 3 of the 4 games to get the keys, unlock Bowser Jr.'s castle, and defeat him in this augmented reality. Like, it's essential. Like I said, it's essentially a physical video game where you have a bunch of people in front of a giant screen. It's like those arcade video games where you're in this, like those gunner games, like the Halo gunner game, where the 1942, where you're manning a turret and you're trying to shoot down planes. It's essentially that, where there's a camera that captures your shadow, and you have to flail your arms around to knock the falling bombs to Bowser Jr. so you can get coins and you can defeat him and get the golden mushroom back.
That costs $40.
Yeah, that does cost $40 because you have to play the video, you have to play the games, get the keys, and when you go up, they actually have you use your power band, and if you unlock, and once you get 3 keys, it unlocks and they let you through.
Well, so what I'm hearing is don't go to Universal Studios if you're poor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, once again,
that's the thing. That's the thing. Real quickly, Ben. I want you to wrap up, but like real quickly, the power band thing is the thing that makes me actively not want to go.
Right.
Because I find from all the pictures I've seen, it's very small, and I get claustrophobic pretty easily, especially when there's a large crowd, which there always is in that area. Plus, you have to pay $40 for this power band, or else you can't get the full experience. And I'm like, I'm good.
It is like the worst version of what they were doing in Harry Potter Land, because like with the wands in Harry Potter Land, like it's just kind of like, hey, there's like fun things that the wand can like make magic happen. It's not
essential to the experience.
You can still just check out the land, and like honestly, there's enough people usually who are doing it. You can watch them do it and just be like, wow, that's really cool. They did that in the land, and then you get the full experience.
Also, you get a wand, which is like a cool like.
Yeah. Whereas you go to Nintendo World and it's like, yo, you like literally can't do half the things here unless you've got a power band in your group. Sorry.
And if you didn't know that going there, like imagine you go with a bunch of your kids. And you didn't know that? You got to spend $200,
and all your kids are going to get a power band.
Yeah, that's awful. But I'm sure it's still a fun time if you can.
It's just for scummy practice.
Yes.
Yeah.
For someone like Ben, I'm sure it's a great idea. It's a great time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely for someone like me, it is a great time. But I do acknowledge that these are a bit. It is scummy that a huge chunk of the land is behind a $40 paywall. While it does suck. When I did play the games, it was fun. Like the Bowser Jr. portion outside of Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, Bowser Jr. was really fun to play. It was cool. It's really fun to go in there, play around, get keys. I also just wish that there was more, like, because there are also like little hidden secret things you can find. There's like these little M's that you can tap your power band to, and then 8-bit sprite pops up in the wall. It's really cool. But there's not a lot. And now, Oh yeah.
And now, Ben, you have your power band, so when you go again, you don't need to repurchase a power band or
hell
access.
no.
Your power band works again. So that's like,
So it's that, yeah.
if you're gonna go more than once and you know it, it's like, well, okay, $40, but like every time I go to the Mario,
No,
Land,
yeah,
I can
yeah,
do
yeah.
all the stuff now.
Oh no! Once you have this, because there's a QR code on the back, and if you have the Universal Studios app, you scan this to your you scan this to your phone in the app. You go to the play section of Super Nintendo World, and it will. You can put down your name. It'll track your progress. It'll track your coins. It'll be like, hey, here's these little stamps that you can collect. There's little like achievements essentially. And here's another cool thing. This works in Japan.
Right.
This will, when it opens, this will work at Orlando. The only thing you need to do when you go to those parks is just download the corresponding app, scan the QR code, and you're good.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
do
it'd be
not-
stupid if you didn't.
Yeah.
Like if they weren't functionally like
Yeah.
good for other places. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, this also works as an amiibo. So if you have like a Nintendo,
That's cool.
yeah. Yeah, so if you have a Nintendo Switch at home and you have something with like Mario amiibos, and you have, because like this is a Mario amiibo, you have Luigi, Daisy, Peach, Yoshi, and Toad. They all work as amiibos. So if you have if you have the Power Band and you have a Switch with some amiibo support, this will work.
That is cool actually.
I mean, but once again, having this $40, it is scummy, and even though now I'm technically a Universal Pass holder, none of the Nintendo stuff is on discount for pass holders as of now, which
It's too new.
Yeah, it's too new and it kind of sucks. But am I glad I got this? Yes. Do I acknowledge that it's a scummy practice? Yes. Will I go again? Of course I will. But
That's true.
For those of you who are really budget conscious and budget centric, then it might not be, it's probably not going to be worth it. At least if you're just going there just wanting to check it out. If you're a diehard Nintendo fan, oh yeah, go hog wild. You're going to love it. But if you're not, and you're someone who just enjoys Nintendo and enjoys Super Mario, then really the only thing there is Bowser's Challenge, and that's about it.
Plan your trips accordingly.
Yes.
All right. Well, real quickly, acknowledge the chat. Mint Blaze?
I Mint. Yep,
That's her-
Mint Blay. That's
Mint
her.
Blay. Hello. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining us
Hello.
today.
Yeah. Hello. And she has a little smiley face down there too.
Ben, do you have anything else you want to add about Nintendo World? You don't need to do like a recap, just
Just if you're going to Super Nintendo World, yeah, the crowd there is pretty nuts. It can, but luckily the reservation system does sometimes turn on and turn off throughout the day. So if you go there and you didn't get the early access pass like some people did, all is not lost. Around 6 o'clock in the afternoon is when a lot of people leave Super Nintendo World. So then they won't require reservations to get into the land, and you can still go. And that's also around the time where the line for Bowser's Challenge usually dies down. We did wait it was posted it was 150 minutes for Mario Kart when we first rode on it.
Jesus.
But we got on the ride in a little under 2 hours.
Oh, only 2 hours.
Oh,
I-
wow.
I know. Okay, for a ride like that, you expect like a 3 hour plus wait.
No, I don't ride rides that are 3 hours long, Ben.
No,
It's just I don't have time in my life to do that.
That's the thing.
But-
Here's real quickly, Ben. Like the thing is, like, I have heard about what this ride is, and I'm really glad you had a great time. Don't get me wrong. I'm really happy I had a great time, but like, I would not think that 3 hours is worth it for that ride.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
anybody who
hard
does,
Same
anybody
kind
who
of
does, you know what? I'm happy. I'm happy you think so. You're wrong.
work. 3
Yeah,
hours
or at
is just so much. You could watch a whole movie we can't talk about.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, you can. But I will say the queue is like most of it is covered, and they do blast the AC. And
That's good,
if
that's
they're
At least that's
and there's only like one section of the line that you are in the direct sun, but there's not a whole lot of shade spots. But the line does move through pretty quickly, and you're only out there for like maybe 10-15 minutes, and then you're inside Bowser's. The queue itself is like, I won't lie, it's gorgeous. It has a lot of really great Easter eggs and a lot of really cool things to look at and Easter eggs. But yeah, 3 hours is way too long, which was really cool because the second time we got on, we got to cheat and we went through the expressway.
Choo-choo.
Nice.
Yeah, someone in our party got hurt and had to go to first aid. And when they told the story, they're like, "Hey, what can we do?" Is like, "Can we get passes for Bowser's Challenge?" And they're like, "Let me see what I can do." And they're like, "Okay, cool. Here's the VIP stuff for 12 people." And we're like, "Sweet."
I know. I know why you said it this way because you finished your sentence, but at the beginning, like, yeah, someone got hurt.
No,
I was like, why are you happy about that?
I know, but you sounded excited.
Right.
Anyway,
Somebody got messed up.
Yeah, Bowser.
They failed
All
the
right.
Bowser challenge. It came in and kneecapped him.
violent challenge. All right. Anything else, Ben?
No, that's pretty much it.
I want Sparks and Ryan to talk a bit because I realized we should talk about the Scream board game.
The what now?
Sure. I mean, it is. Does that?
No, it's not Strike.
No. Yeah, there's a wonderful movie franchise that made a really cool, like 20 to 30-minute board game.
It's it's put out through Funko.
Yeah.
So there's a Scream board game where there's an app for it, and so like the players can get called by Scream throughout the game. It can only be up to 20 minutes. Yeah, by Ghostface. Sorry, yeah. By Ghostface and
Dr. Scream.
And it's very tense. You're trying to complete all these things before Ghostface kills one of you.
It moves very fast.
Yeah.
It was a really, really good time.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the game. It's a really good game mechanic. It can't go beyond 20 minutes, I guess.
No, it cannot. Like, it cannot. 3 minutes before the 20-minute time, you hear a window shatter, and it means Ghostface is coming to kill you in 3 minutes unless you finish the game.
It's awesome.
Had a really good time with that game. I'm glad we got to play it. We played it yesterday at Sparks and Ryan's place. So
I need to play this game now,
especially now that you've seen Scream.
Yeah, I've seen all the movies. I kind of like what? There's a board game of this now,
and it's like it's cool because the app has like the killer's voice, so it's like, oh, you're in the high school.
He recorded the lines for it, so it's great.
It's really cool.
That's rad.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right. I'll talk about Ratchet and Clank then.
I'm gonna go.
Wait, real quick. I the only thing because we talked about board games, we did play Mountains of Madness yesterday too. After you left, Brandon, we had 1 hour and we were like, let's try Mountains of Madness. That game's incredible. That game's awesome. I understand why it can be frustrating, but that is the type of person that I am. I love games like that, and the harder they make it, the more fun I have. So by the end of that game, people are walking across the room, people are screaming, people are copying people's screams, and I'm just like, this is heaven. Oh man, this is awesome. And we won. Yeah. So it felt good. That game's super rough. Really cool idea. Really, how do you turn the ideas of H.P. Lovecraft into a board game? This is exactly how you do it. It's awesome. Communication is so important, and sometimes you just can't even talk. So it's just like, what do you do? What do you do?
I have an idea.
Mine was anytime somebody asks me something, I can't respond. I say, I have an idea, and I ignore them. It's awesome.
It's a really wild. Ben, what it is throughout the game, you get these madness cards, and the madness card tells you what you have to do. So, for example, I had one where it was whenever someone says a number, I have to say the next number. So if someone's like, I've got 3 cards, I have to say 4 cards. And like I just say 4, like that's
with
4, but like
with no context. You can't tell people what your madness is.
You can't tell people what their madness is. And it makes the game very frustrating.
Yeah.
Sounds
it's a hoot and a holler.
All right, well, Sparks, I'm happy to have you for a bit. I'll tell you about Ratchet and Clank later.
Sounds good. I mean, I'm going to listen to the show. I hope you guys have a great show. I just have other stuff going on today, so I'll see y'all.
It's a birthday. We got a birthday in the house.
Check out our YouTube channel this week because we're definitely dropping 100%. TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Ben, Ryan, and I played it with our friend Grayson.
Yes!
So check that out on the YouTube channel. That's dropping this week. Definitely some book club coming this week. I'll see ya.
See you later, my friend. All right, so I played Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. This came out a couple of years ago. I'm very late to the party. This is a sequel to Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus, which was the last game before they made the reboot game, which is not canon. I just found out they just kind of look at it as like a fun side adventure that they did. But Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. This is the game where at the beginning of the game, everyone's celebrating Ratchet and Clank for having saved the universe multiple times at this point, and everyone's like, "Look at you!" And Ratchet's retired, and he's not quite sure if he's still the hero that he once was. And Clank surprises him by saying, "I fixed the Dimensionator," which is the only way that Ratchet can go find his people, because a few games ago we learned that all the Lombaxes left the universe and went to a parallel world to find refuge from the villain of the future trilogy. So kind of complicated, but whatever. So and Ratchet's not sure if he wants to do it, but then Dr. Nefarious shows up, and Dr. Nefarious is like, I'm gonna use the Dimensionator, and I'm going to go to a dimension where I don't lose anymore, because I'm tired of losing to you, Ratchet and Clank. So he goes to a parallel dimension where he is the Emperor, but in doing so, he has broken the boundaries between all the dimensions. So all these like rifts are showing up around the place, and you can use the rifts for traversal, which is one of the new gameplay mechanics that they kind of like were really this is like the main feature of the game was the rift traversal. And you also get to play as the new Lombax character, the parallel dimension version of Ratchet, actually, Rivet.
I love that. I just love how they're seeing like it sounds like hey, we're gonna name all of our main Longbox characters after tools and things you use in construction. That's funny.
Yeah. So this is Rivet. Rivet is the dimension where in her dimension she constantly loses against Emperor Nefarious. There's Captain Quantum instead of Captain Quark. One of the pirates from Quest for Booty also has a parallel dimension version where he's French. It's weird. And the hoverboard celebrity, the kind of Tony Hawk hoverboard celebrity alien, is a resistance fighter named Phantom in the parallel dimension. And he gives you a cool there's a lot of really cool new gameplay mechanics in this game. Someone has set off an alarm back there. So there's a lot of really cool gameplay mechanics. Keep it very fresh, keep it very fun. I love Ratchet and Clank. I've played all the Ratchet and Clank games except for Into the Nexus. And it was so cool to be back in this world. Like, this is a main game. It's not like Into the Nexus, which is like 2 hours. This is like it's got a lot of really cool new aliens, really cool new planets. Emperor Nefarious is a really cool villain. Rivet is such a fun new character. I hope that they do like they did with Miles Morales and make a Rivet side game. Just like 10 hours long, you just play as Rivet. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Everyone's got really complete arcs by the end of it. Everyone has moments to shine. The new Rhino, every game introduces a new Rhino. The new Rhino rules. It's such a cool weapon. I beat the game 100% in a week.
Nice.
So it's probably like 20-25 hours long. And I had a great time. I'm kind of sad it's over because I thought it was just so much fun. It's one of the most engaging Ratchet and Clank games they've ever made. And I have a suspicion that they're making another one. But because of the way it ends, it does sound like that they will eventually make another Ratchet and Clank game. I mean, the gap between Into the Nexus and this game is almost 10 years. So, like, even if it takes that long, I do think there is another Ratchet and Clank game in the pipeline.
We know their next two games, and they've now announced another new multiplayer game that's not based off Ratchet and Clank. So it's, again, they might make another one, but it is going to be a long ass time.
Yeah, and I think that's important for them because they have, Insomniac is not the studio it was when it first made Ratchet and Clank. It's a very different studio now, and and Ratchet and Clank isn't their primary focus, but I think it's still a property that they are passionate about as a company and want to put out for new games when they are able to.
Yeah,
because again, it's a 25-hour game. It's not a big game, but it is really fun. And like, you don't need Ratchet and Clank to be a big AAA multi-platform, not multi-platform, but like, you don't need Ratchet and Clank to be a Spider-Man level game. You can have it be smaller, and I think that's kind of the charm of Ratchet and Clank at this point in this current era of consoles.
Yeah, I think with Ratchet and Clank, it just needs to be a fun, lighthearted adventure with punny devices, fun devices, and fun gadgets to use, and just solid action platforming gameplay.
Yeah, and I think that there's I don't want to spoil it with like the ending of it, but like and I won't. But some of the new planets introduce some really interesting lore that's clearly not just them throwing this lore away for one game. It's them setting something up for the next game, whatever that's going to look like. And I hope they do make another one. I really like the world of Ratchet and Clank, and I'm really happy that it is of its contemporaries. It's the only one that made it through the PS4 and into PS5 era, because Sly Cooper and Jak and Daxter never made it past PS3, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Because those were Naughty Dog, and Naughty Dog will never make a cartoon game ever again.
I'd love for them to go back to Jak and Daxter. I get why they won't, though.
Oh no,
Was
yeah,
Sly
but
Cooper? Was Sly Cooper?
No, they weren't them. It was somebody else. But Sly Cooper is also a game franchise that just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like Ratchet and Clank is the only one of its contemporaries that has survived the era. And I think that's because just Insomniac really is just passionate about Ratchet and Clank and wants it to kind of be their staple.
Insomniac, they are the best at, and it's a lot. You can see a lot of Ratchet and Clank in Spider-Man, just in the weaponry and the gadgets and the tools and stuff like that, and even some of the movement stuff. So like, I don't. Again, just because we know their trajectory over the next like 6 years, like I don't think it's going to happen soon, but I do think they are a company that does like to, hey, we've made 2-3 Spider-Man games. Let's go back to Ratchet. Let's go back to having more little, like, cartoony fun. They are a company that, like you said, Brendan, like they don't mind returning to their old stuff. Like we're never going to get a new Crash game in the style of Naughty Dog and stuff like that, right? Like it can't, like they've come so far. They make HBO games now, basically, as opposed to cartoon games. Like they are just like, they are truly a different developer. Whereas Insomniac were like, they don't mind returning to their roots.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot. Now the latest Crash Bandicoot was not Naughty Dog, right?
No, it was Activision Blizzard. That was Toys for Bob, actually. Toys for Bob.
Right, so
Crash like that game too. So that's
I mean, but it's kind of like the thing, like the developers of Ratchet and Clank still want to return to Ratchet and Clank, whereas the developers of Sly Cooper and Jak and Daxter and Crash Bandicoot don't.
Yes.
So someone else has to take on the Crash Bandicoot thing. But Princess Sparkle Bunny in the chat. Hello,
hey,
happy Sunday to you too.
Happy Sunday to you too.
Me too.
She's saying love in the new time slot.
But yeah, so it's a very fun game with really fun new characters, awesome new locations. This would have definitely been on my top 10 had I played it 2 years ago. But I just had a blast.
More than 2 years.
That's 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it. That is when it came out, huh?
Yeah, I looked it up because I thought it was longer.
Before Miles?
Yeah. I looked it up because I thought it was longer, because I thought it was like 5 years, but no, it's just 2021.
Wow.
Wow.
Time flies when it's a pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. It's really great. It's really what I'm getting at. I had a lot of fun. Great new gameplay mechanics. Love it. If you haven't played Rift Apart, I think it's one of the best Ratchet and Clank games.
When it's cheaper, I will buy it.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go back and play Into the Nexus because it's the one I haven't played yet. All right, shall we get into our bread and butter?
Please. Yum, yum, yum.
It's me buttering the bread.
It's Babs. It's Babs.
Babs.
You're buttering Babs?
I guess so.
All right. Some sad news up top.
Oh, hello, darkness, my old friend.
Bo Goldman, the screenwriter for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Meet Joe Black, passed away at the age of 90.
Ooh, I love One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That's a fantastic movie. Good
I've
movie.
never seen it.
That's not surprising.
Nah,
not in a bad way. It's just an old movie.
Yeah.
He's a really he obviously didn't just do these. He also is an uncredited writer on Dick Tracy, which is kind of fun.
The movie's fun.
He's 90 years old. He's got a good legacy as a screenwriter. Like it is sad, but 90 is good innings.
Absolutely.
90 is that's a long fulfilled life, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, and such seminal work.
Oh yeah.
Randy Meisner, I think I'm pronouncing that right. One of the founding members of the Eagles, passed away at the age of 77.
Dude, I love the Eagles. They're definitely on my like classic rock, yacht rock playlist all the time. Love the Eagles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then go ahead, Ben.
Oh, no. My dad has a vinyl record of Hotel. I mean, of course, Eagles are known for for a lot of other things just besides Hotel California, but that album and that song is just so iconic. It's just such a. I mean, some could call it overplayed, but it's still just a fantastic song. And the Eagles are a band that, even though I didn't really hardcore grow up with them, I still love hearing that song. And on my 66 trip, I went to the spot in Winslow, Arizona that's mentioned in the song Take It Easy. Then that entire town made that song their identity, which is
Don't
really
let
funny.
the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy.
Exactly.
I
mean, I was standing on the corner of Winslow, Arizona, which is such a fine sight to see, and there was a girl, my lord, in a flatbed Ford who slowed down to take a look at me.
It's good.
Look at
It's
that.
good. It's
But
good.
yeah,
Real quick,
it's a
since
bummer.
we're talking about lyrics. Hotel California does have one of my favorite lyrics. Is you could check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
You know what the song's about, right?
It's about Shin Ultraman.
Oh, what a prescient song.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about there's a rehab center in California. There's the only one in existence where you can check yourself in, and they it's kind of like it's a drug rehab center where you have to check yourself in, but you can't essentially get out. That's why it's like you could check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. Because also when you do go to this rehab center, it's like, I think it was because one of the singers had a major drug problem and he went to it. And it was like a court order thing that it's either you do this or you go to jail, essentially.
Well,
I need to do some research, a little bit more research, but I do remember the story my dad told me about the song. Like, stab it with their steely knives, but they just can't kill the beast, because he's like, yeah, the beast is drugs.
The beast is addiction. No, that makes sense. I dig that.
I know you brought up Princess Sparkle Bunny's comment, The Shining. I believe she was saying that in regards to what Hotel California is about. I think she said The Shining.
Potentially.
It could be the
Sure,
Shining.
similar correlation.
No, it's not. I think she was just making a joke, is what I was saying. Like Ryan said, Shin Ultraman. Cool. Yeah. Long legacy once again.
Historic legacy is being part of a band that in the classic, and when people talk about classic rock, it's like, the Eagles, definitely up there.
And then finally, Sinead O'Connor passed away at the age of 56.
What do you know what she passed away of?
No, I don't. I couldn't find it. They haven't divulged it yet. At least at the time I was writing this, they hadn't. But maybe they have now. I don't know.
Well, 56 is incredibly young. Very prolific artist. Very anti-fascist. Very, very liberal. Very cool. Tore up the Pope's picture on television to protest. The Catholic Church. Very cool lady. That's a shame.
I'm looking it up. The cause of death, bipolar diagnosis. That can't kill you.
Oh, well, actually, Princess Sparkle Bunny just brought up probably heartbreak. She lost a child last year. That's awful.
Oh, that would do it. Bipolar disorder plus.
Dang.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Well, rest easy, Sinead.
Yeah.
56. That sucks.
That's young.
Yeah.
All right. Strike news. Once again, we're not going to be talking about film and television news as it doesn't relate to the strike. We're going to be talking about it as it relates to the strike. So
I'm here. I'm on the picket line.
You're recording from the picket line, just like last week. You're recording from Comic-Con.
It's true. It's crazy. It's like it says it's 100 degrees out there, but it's like a cool 65 in here, baby. It's freezing.
Say hi, strikers.
Hey.
One thing I will say, when I was at the theme park yesterday, there were a lot of workers who were wearing pro-strike buttons on their uniforms.
And
I was like, union strong. Get your wages.
Couple of things to talk about with the strike, which is one, I thought this was cool. The Rock was in the news last week, I believe, for getting a $75 million paycheck for his upcoming Santa Claus movie on Netflix. What, Ryan?
75 million?
Yeah, he's like the highest paid actor at this point because of that.
That's a movie. That's an entire movie.
But the reason why he got that salary is because he won't make anything off the back end.
Nobody should be making that much money regardless.
Right. I mean, there's also that, but also residuals, guys. Pay your residuals. This is what they're striking about, is getting these streaming residuals, and they're circumventing that by giving you a larger paycheck up front. And in the case of The Rock, 75 million, which is ridiculous. But anyway, the good news is that he has donated a historic seven-figure check to SAG-AFTRA, and they're in regards to the strike, a part of the strike donation, and it is the quote the largest single donation that they've ever received from one individual at one time.
7 figures. That's 10 million or more. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That will pay people who can't afford their rent. That is, no matter what I've said about The Rock and Black Adam and all his nonsense, good for you, dude. Incredible, incredibly humble thing to do. Incredible.
Yeah. I know I've maybe like cracked a few jokes at Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but that is an act of kindness. If there's one thing I can't say about him, I will not say he is not an unkind person.
Yeah, that's truly incredible.
That's true. It's really nice to see a celebrity of his profile doing something like that, showing that support for the strike, because that man is incredibly popular and incredibly famous. And if he did something like that, this is like when Snoop Dogg canceled his concert performance. Like, people who are of that caliber showing support for the strike will get a bigger public, will get the public opinion towards the strike, which is what we need. We need that groundswell public opinion. We're seeing it, but we need more. We need to beat the AMPTP, and this is how we do it.
Quick side note: remind me when did Snoop Dogg cancel the concert? I don't remember that.
I believe just after SAG struck or after the WGA struck.
Oh.
I don't remember exactly when he did it, but he did cancel a thing, and everyone was like, "Why is he doing it?" Is it because he's an actor? Because he's in SAG.
I always forget that Snoop is in SAG.
Yeah, he's an actor. He was in Starsky and Hutch.
That was his first big movie role, if I do remember correctly.
He was just in Day Shift. Remember?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
he canceled it to be in solidarity with writers and fellow actors. Yeah. His album Doggy Style turns 30 in November. It's a great album. Yeah, 30. That's we're that old.
Yeah.
Princess Sparkle Bunny bringing up The Rock's performance in Scorpion King. I'll admit he has more than made up for that film, in my opinion. I may not have enjoyed his most recent things, but he's got some really great films that I think make up for that.
Remember the CGI rubber man he was in The Mummy?
Oh God! In Revenge of the Mummy, yeah. Wait, is it Revenge of the Mummy?
I want it to be called Revenge of the Mummy.
It's Mummy Returns.
Mummy Returns. Revenge of the Mummy's the ride.
Yeah,
that's how long it's been since I've seen that movie.
It's fine.
All right. Anyway.
Well, no, you just see like Scorpion Claw rock, and it's like you never forget it, and it's like I don't need to see that movie ever again.
I'll never forget the movements he does.
Oh yeah.
I know it's not him. I know it's a completely CGI person with the Rock's face plastered on it, but it
might as well be like a rubber model that they just like drew someone's face on.
And of course, the all famous Semper Fi, mother from Doom.
So,
it's a good one.
The other big donation that happened this week was from Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa donated a lot of water to the picket lines, to SAG-AFTRA and WGA.
Do you think it's a little on the nose that Aquaman gave people a bunch of water?
Yeah, but I love it for that.
I do too, but I'm just like, does he think it's funny, or does he not even think that he's Aquaman doing this? I wonder if he's playing into it, like, what up? It's me, Arthur.
But in this weather, like that is just as good of a donation as money at this point.
No, I'm not. No, trust me, I'm not knocking it. Yeah. It's just really funny that it's Aquaman giving 5,000 bottles of water.
Right. Yeah.
You know what? I think it's just one of those things that he's like, I'm gonna give these people the water. It's hot. And he's thinking when Jason Momoa did, although it is just Momoa, he probably is like he knows what he's doing. But at the same time, I could see this just be an amazing coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even when even when I was driving to the park yesterday, I did see some of the trees, and I was just like glaring, and I'm like,
oh yeah.
I didn't see any picketers, but I did see the trees, and I'm like,
that's because it's Saturday, and they don't picket on the weekends.
It's the Lord.
Yeah. Anyway, so once again, these are two good donations. These are two famous people that are putting the eyes on in the right place. I think more of this. I know Tom Cruise said that he's going to help in other ways, but put your money where your mouth is, man. Let's do it. Let's get these majorly famous actors. Well, actually, you know what? I'll talk about this one next. there's a movie coming out called G20. It's filming currently, and it's starring Viola Davis. Now, this is a truly independent film that's not part of the studios owned by is not part of the studios that are a part of the AMPTP. So they were able to keep filming. They had a contract with SAG to keep filming. Viola Davis this week has decided to actually shut down the film anyway, in order to. She says, I love this movie, but I do not feel that it would be appropriate for this production to move forward during the strike.
I 100% love that. And it's the thing with, like, we talked about it with like A24, and like, yes, you can be independent, but like, just like with this podcast, we're not making movies, but we're showing solidarity. Like if everybody is trying to be in full force of show support, like, maybe just don't make a movie right now. You know, just like, again, like, business is business, and some people have to get paid, and like, you know, schedules and whatnot. But like, if the entire world's trying to come together on this, like, I understand indie movies are not the same thing as $200 million blockbusters, but like, Viola Davis wants to be in solidarity. I'm like, hell yeah. Like, I think everyone else should just comply.
That's the thing that we were talking about with, like, as you mentioned, with A24, because like A24's high profile stuff, and like, to be fair, like, you know, they are not a struggling studio, but they're a smaller studio. They're not part of the AMPTP. The strike is against the studios that are in the AMPTP, and they were able to make their own deal, and that's also really great. But having an actor like Viola Davis shut down her production in a show of solidarity is also really important. And it's kind of one of those, like, I actually don't think A24 is wrong in wanting to continue to film, because they are so small, and they need to fill their quota, and they need to get their investment back. But I also get that, what a show would that be if they're like, yeah, we got this contract, we're willing to work with SAG on everything, but we're also going to pause all of our productions.
It's a double-edged sword, because, like, again, like, literally you just said, Brendan, like, the smaller studio needs to put stuff out, or they will, like, shutter. And again, like, A24 is not the smallest studio ever, but like, they do make small movies. So like, if they have a bad year, like, who knows, like, what that can do to them. And we don't want a bunch of layoffs at like one of the best studios around. So like,
and we don't want A24 to get swallowed up by another, like, by a bigger studio. Like,
absolutely. So it is just that rough situation of like showing solidarity, but also like, I have to make money or I will not, like, you know, that's what everyone's dealing with. So like, you know, I don't begrudge anyone having to make a tough decision, you know, as long as it's not for, you know, Disney or Universal, like, you know, it's a little more leeway.
Right. Tom Cruise is not getting away from Mission Impossible. Right. We don't.
I think he's just like crying in a corner because his movie is like underperforming, and I get it, because that movie deserves to make a lot of money.
That movie should not have been released next to Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
it should have moved immediately.
It got Barbenheimer so bad.
It did. It did. I want to talk about Barbie so bad, but I can't.
No, we didn't see Barbie. What are movies?
Yeah. But anyways, quick pause and side note. Guess who's in the chat, Brandon? My dungeon master, Danger Dangers himself, saying, hi, everybody. Swing by to say that Brandon did a fantastic job on the conversation. Interviewing 7 people isn't easy, but you were a great host, and it was a wonderful time. See, I told you.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. Congratulations on D and Dark. It is a wonderful show. All right. So that's all the kind of like the good solidarity stuff. Sony, in response to the strike, has decided not to split from the AMPTP and make their own deal with SAG-AFTRA. They've instead decided to move their entire November and December slate.
Man, this is the thing, man. It was, everyone's waiting for the first studio to make the move, and now that it's happening, just like the pandemic, every other studio is going to start moving all of their movies.
Yep.
This is the drop.
2024 is going to be a crowded movie year.
Yes.
So the kind of the big one was the Emmys. The Emmys were pushed because no actors no actors or writers could be there. So they have been postponed. They were supposed to air on September 18th. For whatever reason, they were already pushed to the end of the year rather than at the beginning of the year. I don't know if that was always the case, but it is this year. And then now they're just postponed indefinitely. So the upcoming Emmys are just not going to happen this year. Poor Things was moved 2 weeks. No, that wasn't 2 weeks. That was Gran Turismo. Okay. Poor Things was originally supposed to come out in September 8th, 2023. That's the Emma Watson, Willem Dafoe kind of Frankenstein.
The Yorgos Lanthimos weird looking Frankenstein movie.
It will now release in December 8th, 2023. So it is still this year. It's just been pushed back a couple of months.
I was ready for you to say December 2024 and like break my heart. So like, it's still this year, so it's like that's okay. If the strike ends, of course. Like, oof.
Of course. Gran Turismo was only pushed 2 weeks from August 11th to August 25th, which is a weird change. Because the quote that was attached to this move was, quote, "The movie stars can't promote the movie, but the audiences can."
Well,
But 2 weeks is no time at all.
Damn. Okay, now I'm kind of okay. The weird thing, really weird side tangent about Gran Turismo, because that weekend I'm going to Las Vegas for my best friend's bachelor party, and the day we were going to drive back home, we were going to make a pit stop to go see Gran Turismo because it comes out the day we go to Vegas, and we're not going to do that. And I'm bummed because my best friend, you guys know, is a huge car guy. He loves race cars, and he really loves playing the game Gran Turismo, so he was really looking forward to it. So, dang it!
I'm sorry.
Well, it's only 2 weeks.
It's only 2 weeks, but it still is like one of those things
You
that
can't see
was
it
going to be
together.
it was going to be a nice little cherry on top for his bachelor party to go see Gran Turismo, but oh well.
Now just make it the honeymoon and bring the wife.
Ghostbusters 4, so the sequel to Afterlife, has been pushed from December 20th, 2023 to March 29th, 2024, and you have no idea how happy I am that a Ghostbusters movie is not coming out this year.
Yeah. That's 5 months away. Yeah, that's scary.
The fact that they were still filming during the writer's strike, and obviously they cannot film during the actor strike, I am happy that film is delayed and cannot film, and thank goodness. I don't think I could have handled Ghostbusters discourse this year.
Did you see that Sonic 3 is currently filming?
What? Yeah.
No, but it's really funny, Ben, because there's no actors on set. It's just 3 standees of Knuckles, Tails, and Sonic, and they're doing all the CGI shots and stuff. So you just see standees on set, and like they're in the air, and it's like, man, making movies is really funny.
Hey, you know what? That's a good use of your time.
It is. You don't need people. I mean, like the set people are different, but like, yeah.
They're probably just getting the shots ready, and then when the strike is over, they're like, okay, let's Ben Schwartz and whoever's playing Shadow do your record your lines.
Yeah, this is all all the stuff that they're just going to overlay with CG. So it's like, that makes sense.
This is like what Ridley Scott wanted to do, which is film with all the background extras and things like that.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse has been pushed from its March 29th, 2024 release to indefinitely. We do not have a current date for this movie, and I do not believe it's because of the strike.
I mean, it is a factor, but that movie without a strike was still not going to come out in March. Absolutely. Yeah. Right. No way.
That's why there's no release date. There's release dates for all of these. There's not for that. And I think that's because that movie's not ready.
And if that movie is the same quality of this last movie, I will wait 5 years. I don't care. Yeah. Art takes time to make good. Like, make it as good as you need it to be. Take your time, pay your artist. Don't crunch, please.
Mm-hmm. Give them more time to work. Kraven the Hunter was also pushed from August 6, 2020 to October 6, 2023, not 2020. I read that all wrong.
Can you repeat it? Can you repeat that whole thing?
Yes. Kraven the Hunter.
Yes.
Has been pushed from its October 6th, 2023 release date to August 30th, 2024.
August. I'm not like I'm excited for it, but not like crazy. But that's so far away. It's not even August now. That's over.
It'll be in a couple of days.
It's like over a year away. That's whatever.
Obviously, and then Venom also got a release date of June 2024, but it wasn't pushed or anything. It wasn't supposed to come out this year. Okay. So there you go. Well, some stuff. It's gonna happen more.
Dune's moving. 100%. I'm gonna cry. It's gonna be so sad.
Yeah, it's gonna happen a lot more. These movies are gonna push. All because the AMPTP does not want to go back to the negotiating table and make these people a fair deal.
Aquaman's about to become a 2-year hiatus movie. It's about to become the new Mutants.
Jesus. If they need more time in that editing bay to make that movie good, take it.
If they even care about it at this point.
I know. Well, I'm sure James Wan cares about it.
No, but you know what I mean. Like, does the studio care to let them have extra money to fix all the problems if there are some? Like, We'll see.
Dangers in the we'll just have to make do without more spum, but that's the sacrifice we make.
It's gonna be hard, Dan. A whole year without some more spum.
What's that acronym?
Sony Pictures universe of
Marvel movies.
Marvel
movies.
Yeah.
There you go, spum.
I was like, what the hell is spum? Is that like an acronym that I don't know that I'm supposed to know?
Well, I think it used to be the Sony Pictures universe of Spider-Man characters.
Spump.
The spump.
Used to be the spunk. Now it's the spum.
And now it's the spum. The Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters. Anyway, there's a couple of other things that we'll talk about, which is the studio executives who make up the AMPTP's clientele are going to speak to the National Association of Theater Owners. Obviously, theater chains are going to be impacted by all these moves. And they are doing this because they want the theater chains, this organization, to convince SAG to settle and go back to get back to work.
It's not gonna work. You try to get the government to be a mediary. Now you want to talk to the theaters to cry about it. No, y'all, this is it. They're striking. This is a strike. It's not going to end until you pay them.
Here's what it's probably not going to happen because a lot of these theater chains are billion-dollar corporations, but still, how funny would it be is if they just give them an Uno reverse card and said, no, you go to the table. Fix this shit.
No, they won't. No, they won't.
Of course they won't.
They're not billion-dollar corporations. It is, I think, a billion-dollar industry, but that's not where it used to be. The thing that they're hoping to do is kind of scare them like COVID did. Like COVID really scared the National Association of Theater Owners because you can't go to the theaters. So what's that going to look like? How are you going to survive? You're not going to survive. So the studios are going back saying, hey, you're not going to survive this strike. Tell them that because they care about you more than they care about us, which is kind of a really sleazy tactic, but I kind of understand the decision to make it.
Yeah.
But I hope that the National Association of Theater Owners will understand that it was these studios who threatened their livelihoods during the pandemic and not the actors.
I don't know the billionaires who own the movie theaters as well as I know the billionaires who own all the big movie studios. But I would like to think that besides everyone who's always invested in money, it's always about money, but movie theater people understand that actors make up movies and writers make up movies. So I like to think that the movie theater people have a better understanding than the big studio people. But they're all billionaire assholes anyway. So I could be wrong, but I hope I don't think Ben, you made the joke of Uno reverse card, but I hope the theaters are no, you pay your people. Who cares?
Yeah.
No. We'll figure it out. We'll play old movies. People love to see old movies. We'll do a Ghibli Fest every month.
I want that.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm actually mad that I'm always mad about my work schedule, but over at my local theater, every Tuesday they have a $5 classic movie night.
Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of places do.
I am so mad that I have not been able to go see Jurassic Park in a movie theater. I've only seen it on a home video. I've always wanted to see it in a movie theater, and I would love to go do that. I'm like, hey, old movie night, they'll expand the old movie night if this happens. I'm game. I'll do it. I'll still pay the outrageous prices for concessions. I'll go.
Did you not come with me to see Jurassic Park for the 25th anniversary?
I did not.
Interesting. I thought you did.
I should. I think
that was the last time I saw it in theaters was the 25th anniversary.
I think we were trying to, but it just never worked out.
Yeah, schedule.
Anyway, I hope this doesn't work because it's not going to stop them from striking, but actors want to see theaters succeed. That's where they get most of their revenue anyway. Anyway, studios are considering terminating some of their first look deals. So as we've talked about before, many writers and directors have received first look deals with studios that they would only work on certain things. Because of this strike, the studios are now looking at terminating those contracts. Sleazy as hell.
Do it. These people they obviously they care, but they don't care. They are striking. These studios, they are going to do every single thing in their power, and everything they do will make them look worse and worse and worse in the eyes of the people. And they already, I would say the regular person already probably agrees with the strike stuff. But every day, every week, it's getting worse. Where they're saying the worst things, they're going to every other person to try to mediate instead of just talk to the people on strike. This has been going for months, and they're going to do everything, and nothing is going to work. Nothing's going to work, and it's going to be so interesting. because like so much has happened in these past few weeks with the actors and in the past like couple months with the writers. But like if this continues for months, it's the studios are really going to be effed, like truly going to be effed. And it is going to suck for everyone involved, but you know, we have to get through a rough patch to make it better for the future. And that is like, it is exciting that it is happening. Like revolution in the entertainment industry is happening. And that is exciting.
And it needs to happen. Like it's needed to happen for a while, and it's good that it's happening now. But the AMPTP, I think, are telling the studios we can win this, but the studios aren't realizing. Well, what they realize this, they know they've already lost, because this is why they're doing all this, because the writers and the actors believe in this so strongly that it will ruin the studios. It's not going to ruin the writers and the actors, and they'll still have jobs when the strike is over. Ideally, but they may be more choosy to work with people who they know has tried to scare them out of the strike. Said that they can. The guy who said, Iger, the guy who said, we're going to wait till the writers start losing their houses, is not going to get a lot of writers working for him anymore.
No.
They are looking more and more like the evil bad guy. They're looking more and more like mask off Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor has revealed himself to be a villain to all of Metropolis, and Metropolis has turned on him.
It is. We've talked about it for weeks now. That line came out of like, yeah, we'll wait for them to lose their houses. Like somebody said that in a public forum, and that got reported on. Like that's the type of people we're dealing with. Like these people don't care about human life. That they're just numbers to go up and down. And like this again, like we need a big revolution to change that mentality. And like it's going to take them losing billions of dollars until they finally say, oh, that's enough. I need to keep my billions of dollars. For what reason? I don't know. You're a megalomaniac. But it's exciting and scary at the same time. But like they can try to do as many things as they want, talk to as many people, and nothing's going to work.
Yeah. As I mentioned up top, there are plenty of links to where you can support the strike, understand what they're striking for. We firmly believe in the striking and the strikes. We are 100% in solidarity with them, and if you couldn't tell from this very conversation, there it is. The last thing I'll mention about the strike is that the WG East, not the WGA West yet, anyway, has promised that they will, after the strike, include animation writers in the WGA, because currently they are protected under TAG, which is the Animation Guild, and they should be in WGA.
100%. You're writing. I never understood that.
Yeah. So that's why. Which is a huge win. The fact that the WGA is going to start protecting animation writers is a huge, huge win, because we've talked about it before. TAG is a union, but they are not a strong union because not everyone has joined them yet. I believe that they could become a strong union, and they are working on it, but they are not as strong as the WGA. And giving the animation writers WGA protection is going to be huge.
100%. Let's hope for the future.
Yeah. But like I said, we're not going to be talking about movies and TV shows anymore. So instead, we're going to be talking about comics.
Yeah!
There are 2 comics that were announced from Marvel this week. One being Marvel Superhero Secret Wars Battle World. So this is going to be written by Tom DeFalco, who was the editor-in-chief at Marvel Comics, I believe, or at least the editor of Secret Wars. The
editor, yeah. It was Jim Shooter was the editor-in-chief.
Yeah, so this is the editor of the original Secret Wars, and this is what this is. This is going back to the original Secret Wars, with art by Pat Alife.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I got so far. This new story will at last reveal some secret connections and missing characters going back to the original series. What secret test are the Beyonders conducting, and how will Spider-Man, the Human Torch, those are the main characters of the book, and the whole cast determine the fate of the universe?
I so don't care about this book. Sorry, Tom DeFalco. He is not necessarily a writer I care about. And this being, we've done these types of books in the past. Like, we're revisiting an old saga, an untold story from the past. That's fine. I don't need any more Secret Wars, especially the original one. The original one's really fun. It is just bashing your action figures together. So So like it's cool for the old school fans, but like this one specifically feels for like, yo, did you read that book 40 years ago? This one's for you. And I'm like, I'll pass. I'm okay. I'm sure it's gonna be totally fine.
They revisited Secret Wars during 2015 Secret Wars with Deadpool. Deadpool Super Secret Wars.
Yes. Yes, that's a great book. Yeah.
That was really good. That's really fun. That's kind of where I want you to go if you revisit Secret Wars.
Yeah. I mean, it is like one of Marvel's biggest events. So like, I understand always wanted to go back to it, something like Flashpoint or something. So like, I get it. This one's just not for me.
Well, this one's for me. Spider-Gwen on tour. We're going to be returning back to Earth 65. Spider-Gwen is Gwen Stacy is touring with her band, the Mary Janes. This is going to be written by Melissa Flores with art by Enid Balam.
Okay, all right.
Sees Gwen Stacy and her band, the Mary Janes, touring the country to play gigs in 4 different cities. Gwen's trying her hardest not to use her secret identity, but keeping the mask in her bag gets difficult when the crew encounters a mysterious assassin on their tail.
Ooh,
This
that's always
sounds like a
fun
lot
revisiting.
of fun.
Yeah, I'm always down to revisit that universe. I'm definitely not caught up on any of the. Is she Ghost Spider now? Is that her official? Because that's what she is in Marvel Snap.
It seems like they're going back to the Spider-Gwen titling because they've been using Ghost Spider. At least her last technically ongoing was Ghost Spider, and I think her last mini was Spider-Gwen.
Consistency, y'all.
I think they wanted Ghost Spider because they knew they were going to trap her in 616 for like way too long. I'm glad to be going back to her 65. I am caught up with her run, and they have yet to address the cliffhanger of her last run, which was that her universe's Human Torch and Invisible Woman have banned her from her own dimension.
Ooh.
And we've never picked that thread up. We just kind of keep ignoring it as she's bouncing between, because they like this idea of Gwen Stacy, interdimensional traveler. And I'm like, keep her get her back to her 65, get her back with these characters. That's where she was most interesting.
I wonder, just going off the synopsis alone, it kind of sounds like just a new number 1. We're not picking up that last story. Just what it sounds like. She's on tour with her band. So like, yeah, I at least hope for your sake that there is some, interconnectivity with the last story.
This is another 5-issue miniseries.
Give her an ongoing.
Like the last 2 were.
Every character, it's all miniseries. No one gets an ongoing.
Yeah, I want her to get another ongoing. I get it; it's tough, but like if Miles can have his own ongoing for years, like just put in the time and the effort for Ghost Spider or Gwen, whatever.
It took Kamala Khan dying and being reborn a mutant to get herself an ongoing, but like Spider Boy by Dan Slott, he gets an ongoing. Like, what are we doing here? Why are these?
Miss Marvel isn't even getting an ongoing. It's a 4-issue miniseries.
Well, no, I think it'll relaunch into.
I know, but Spider Boy gets an ongoing just by debuting, and Miss Marvel has to get a 4-issue miniseries to launch into an ongoing.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
As many number 1s as you need to sell, Marvel. That's fine.
Anyway, I am excited for this one. I didn't really love the last miniseries, but going back to the Mary Jane sounds like a lot of fun.
I'm into it, and if it can have a beautiful, cool, unique art style to match that universe, that'd be great.
Yeah. Digimon news. Really incredible Digimon news, you guys. So Discotech, which is a physical media distribution company,
also a Spanish word for disco.
Yes, that's true. They have announced that. So they have the rights to Digimon. Real quickly, they've already put out the first series dubbed on Blu-ray. But they have also announced at a convention over the weekend on Friday that they have the rights for Digimon the movie, and not just the rights for Digimon the movie, the 3 movies that make it up. So for those of you who don't know, Digimon the movie was 3 Digimon movies spliced together to make 1 movie. They are called Digimon Adventure, that's the origin segment where Agumon is huge and fights Parrotmon. Digimon Adventure R War Game, that's the segment that introduces Omnimon and Diaboromon. And then Digimon Adventure 02, Digimon Hurricane Touchdown, which is the Adventure 2 characters.
Hurricane Touchdown?
Yeah, Hurricane Touchdown.
That That's what it was called?
Yeah.
Hurricane
So
Touchdown.
all three of those movies were spliced into one film with an Angela Anaconda short and called Digimon the Movie.
God, that Angela Anaconda short. Oh,
Where in the world is Angela Anaconda?
If
No.
anybody remembers Angela
Oh.
Anaconda, there you go, Brian.
I
Can
had
you look it up, Brian? Can you
I
look it
will.
up, please?
I
yeah,
will.
right. If I remember this, and I had the Digimon movie.
Oh,
on
nope,
VHS.
nope, got it. No, what a
Yeah.
weird. Ew,
Yeah.
I don't
I
remember
had-
this.
I had to suffer through that goddamn short. Every
It was
time
on. It was
I
on
wanted
the
to watch that
VHS.
Yes, it was in front of the movie
Yeah.
on my VHS. I had to suffer through that
No.
effing thing.
This
And,
is not a memory I want to remember.
No, no. I
All right.
remember-
Anyway, Ben.
Oh,
Ben,
no,
it's okay.
I'm still not done bitching about Angela Anaconda because that effing sucks.
But this is good news. This is good news.
She's coming
No,
back.
No, so they have announced that they are going to release the three films: Digimon Adventure, Our War Game, and Digimon Adventure 02, Digimon Hurricane Touchdown, individually in a collection called Digimon Movie Collection 1. The one is
Wow.
important. I wanted to make sure that the one was there.
Okay. That's better.
So these three films are going to be redubbed with the original English voice actors, where they could find that not all of them were available or still voice acting. So where available, I think they got like 90% of them, and then the switch like Joe and Mimi, and just kind of had to. So they are going to have redubs, which is the dub is going to be a blend of the kind of nostalgia voice acting and dialogue from the movie. You know, like the Izzy, would you like a beat shake? Oh yes, please. So things like that. Where Ty's mom is just making the worst dishes, and Izzy is just gobbling it up.
And it's like, Izzy, I just made squeeze some onion juice.
So they are going to have these movies redubbed with that, with some of that dialogue, but also a more faithful dialogue. So they've kind of blended together into like a really faithful version of these three films. This is incredibly exciting. These films have never been available in America individually. That have never been dubbed like this. This is incredible. I cannot wait to see these unedited, uncut, brand new voice acting. So down.
I am the one with Diablo. Is it Diaboromon? Diaboromon. Yeah, with Diaboromon and Omnimon. That was always. I mean, look, the original Digidestined. That's what I grew up with. I love the original Digidestined. I like the new kids very much, but when it's Ty, Matt, Izzy, and you got Agumon and Gabumon about to fight, and when they digivolved into Omnimon for the very first time, it was like one of those hell yeah moments that I had as a kid. And
the animation is incredible.
It is. It looks stunning, and the fact that they're redoing this and re-editing it and re-dubbing it, I am. Oh,
what you got? Machinedramon?
He has the original Digibattle cards.
That's
Hercules
cool.
Kabuterimon. That's how I knew that Kabuterimon would Mega evolve.
Boltmon.
Oh.
I remember. Yeah, Hercules Kabuterimon was the first time I saw the Mega Digivolution for Kabuterimon.
That was Hercules Kabuterimon is freaking rad.
So this is a really big deal. Obviously, this is incredibly exciting because I've always wanted to watch these movies individually. There is a fourth film that was called The Revenge of Diaboromon, was dubbed and released as a TV special, but is never been available physically. And I think that's why they call this Diaboromon. So they call this Digimon the Movie Collection 1, and I think they have the rights to all of the movies from the classic Digimon series, and I'm going to be getting all of them because this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds very cool.
The other thing is they are also packaging this with the completed Digimon the movie minus the Angela Anaconda short.
It's not complete.
It's not complete.
It's not complete.
No,
we're gonna need to take it back to the factory.
Cut it. Get that effing short out of here. Just no. Kill it with fire. In my brain, I will die on the hill that is the complete version. I will be like, yes.
Well, the complete version. This is for nostalgic purposes, right? Like this is for the ones that were like, oh, I want to watch the original, how it was originally made. So this is Digimon the movie. It's going to have, real quickly, Ben. It's going to have all the music. It's going to have the exact same dub it had in theaters, just remastered, re-edited, HD Blu-ray. Not re-edited, sorry, HD Blu-ray. It's gonna be great.
I will not lie. It's because of that movie that introduced me to ska and the Money by Boss Tones, and I will love that movie for it because that soundtrack slaps.
So you know what? You're right.
This is all Blu-ray, by the way. This is all coming out in Blu-ray. Nice. So these all been remastered.
Tapwater Springs.
What?
Tapwater Springs. That's where Angela lives.
Oh.
I didn't remember. I'm throwing facts at Ben so he can get more mad.
Angela Anaconda.
Do you know her antagonist? Do you know the antagonist's name?
No.
Nanette Manoir.
I do remember that. I can hear it in my head.
Nanette Manoir.
Anyway, yeah.
That's it.
The movie is going. So, yeah, this is just really exciting because I really love these. I'm really excited to finally see these unedited films. The Revenge of Digimon film is awesome. Seeing these originals is gonna be so good, especially with the original voice acting.
It's nice that we're getting like, you know, a nice definitive, good looking. Like they're not just like Americans. You're never gonna get this. Like it's nice that like we get to feast as well. And
they understand the nostalgia of Digimon, and they're still putting on that movie to be like, and if you want the movie, it's here too.
I got these cards from my youth. I thought that'd be worth something one day. Turns out Digimon, not so valuable.
No, not at all. Then they also, at the same time, they also announced the release of the Japanese versions of the Japanese version of Digimon Adventure for the first time ever available in America.
Right on.
So if you want to see it in its classic unedited Japanese language track version, it'll finally be available in Blu-ray, no less.
Sounds lovely.
All right, trailers tonight, my friends.
There's a lot of great Digimon. A lot of great Digimon right now with the Adventure 2020 airing, and then there's this stuff, and then what we're going to talk about now in trailers.
T-Talk.
Digimon Adventure 02, The Beginning. So this is the sequel to Digimon The Last Evolution of Kazuna, which was the final movie of the Adventure 1 kids. So this is going to be a movie centered around Davis, Jolie, Kari, TK, Ken. So it's going to be focused on them because they were pretty much shafted in the Adventure 1 movies, Try and Last Evolution of Kazuna. This is kind of that rectifying that. And I think this looks awesome. I've been excited for this for ever since I heard about it, and I'm so happy this looks beautiful. The animation is stunning.
Seeing Imperial Dramon.
Ryan, you're muted.
I sure was. Yes, it is in Japanese, and I don't know the context for a lot of things, but it does look beautiful for sure.
Yeah.
Seeing Imperial Dramon again in both his dragon and warrior forms, I'm like, I want. Gimme.
Yo, once they started making Digimon Transformers, it was over, dude. It was over.
I will never forget the first time I heard XVmon, Stingmon, DNA Digivolve 2. I'm like, what is going on? What is happening? And it was the coolest shit ever.
Oh yeah, dude. Digimon.
I really like Adventure 2. I'm an Adventure 1 guy all the way, but Adventure 2 is really good. I think it's kind of a bad rep, but kind of we can kind of surmise. So there seems to be a new Digidestin that's shown up, and he's got an Adventure 1 Digivice, not an Adventure 2 Digivice, and there is for some reason a giant Digi Egg on top, hovering above Tokyo. And so it's really interesting. This is coming out in October. We don't know when it's coming out in America. I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will shortly after. But yeah, I'm super stoked to see these kids again.
Yeah. Very cool.
I really love those last couple of movies for the Adventure 1 kids and for the Adventure 2 kids to finally get their moment to shine.
Yeah.
It's really great.
That's really cool. Once they get to 3, that's when I'm jumping on board. I mean, if they start to do the is that Tamers? Is that what it's called? I never remember. If they do Tamers and like the Ava version of that one, I'm like, oh baby, I'm so jumping in.
Oh yeah, it'd be so interesting to see if they do a sequel to Tamers. Because they they're pretty nostalgic to do Adventure all the time. So they did Adventure Try, Last Evolution of Kazuna, and now this. be so interesting to see if they want to do Tamers next. Should
I
they
just
ever
love that
finish
world.
playing in the adventure world?
Yeah. I just love that tone, and it's it's a little bit darker, and like again, like all the real world stuff. And I'm just like, I love Digimon, but like I don't revisit it as often as I probably should. But like that is the era. If we go back to that, is like that's when I will come back 100%.
I think Tamers is objectively the best Digimon show.
Yeah. I think it's my nostalgia for the adventure that gets me all the time, and I don't know why I just could not get into Tamers when I was first watching it. I want to say it was on Netflix when they had Tamers on. And I tried watching it. I mean, it's not bad. I still liked it, but I don't know. I think it's because it's mostly my nostalgia for Adventures 1 and 2 because
You would love it. I think you would love it now.
Yeah, I probably would love it now.
I think one of the things about Tamers that's difficult is when it was first released. Originally they would air Digimon Digital Monsters on like Fox Kids, I think, maybe WB.
It was Fox Kids.
yeah,
I remember
Fox
waking up. It was
season.
after
Ben, real quick. Season 3 was Digimon Digital Monsters. Season 3 was Digimon Tamers, and we didn't know that at the time. So it's really weird going from the end of Digimon Adventure 2 to an alternate universe version of Digimon. And I think of Tamers as like the more successful season of The Witch, which is like if Tamers didn't do well, they would have gone back to Adventure. But since Tamers did well, they made Digimon an anthology series. So they did the 2 sequels and then they did the anthology afterwards. So every season has been unconnected since. But Tamers, when you're a kid, you're like, wait, where's all my favorite? What do you mean Ty and Matt are a TV show in this universe? That's so weird.
Season of the Gilamon.
Yeah. Anyway,
love it.
Tamers is really good, Ben. You should check it out again. Okay. And then Mortal Kombat Keepers of Time.
All right, so this one focuses on a character from MK11. So you guys don't know who Garrus is, but he explains that he is the guardian of time. Spoiler for MK11. You guys have watched like 7 MK1 trailers now. Liu Kang beats the old god of time. He becomes the new god in Raid and all that stuff. Garrus is a bad guy in MK11. He is now Liu Kang's like number 2, and he helps guard the timeline. But what's so interesting, and this is the trailer, all these trailers have been really fun, and like, it's new lore, like what did Liu Kang rewrite? This trailer specifically shows that this game is going super duper duper hard into rewriting the timeline, and what does that mean for the MK universe, and like what is like a Nexus event type thing where like things have to happen and other things don't have to happen. Like, we now know that the Scorpion in this game is not Scorpion from the Mortal Kombat universe. This is the first Sub-Zero. So Sub-Zero and Scorpion are both the Sub-Zeros from the original MK universe. So the original Scorpion, Hanzo, we don't know where he is. Something happened to him in this new universe. What did Liu Kang do to him? And what does that mean for the universe when like your universal constant is no longer a universal constant? That shit is what blows my mind. And I'm super excited about like Liu Kang tried to save the universe by rewriting it, but some things you cannot rewrite because it's the nature of the world.
Well, it kind of also gives a little context to the Tarkatans being like a disease and Melina, like because they say in this trailer, like you've changed people's destiny. You changed like bad people's destiny, so there wouldn't be a problem essentially.
Yes.
But like Melina still gets her mouth, so like it's like what you're saying, a Nexus event. These things have to happen, and he's not prepared for that.
You can try to get rid of all the Tarkatans, and they're like a bloodthirsty, like almost like a Klingon type race, and like you could try to get rid of them, but maybe they have to exist in this universe, so it reforms through a disease. And that's like so exciting. And like what happens when you take out one of the biggest villains, Scorpion, who eventually becomes a good guy, but it takes 30 years. Like what happens when you take out that guy who kills the original Sub-Zero, who is a villain for so long? You take him out of the universe completely. What does that do? Well, it makes a better universe, but then the universe fights back because that's supposed to happen. And that shit is just incredible that we are getting that in a fighting game storyline. This just looks like insane. Liu Kang. Y'all, you saw that Liu Kang black hole fatality. He did a Thanos. You kidding me? You kidding me?
That's what I was waiting for that, because like I think the visuals in this trailer look awesome. There's the fatality where the hourglass Garrus his name? Garrus. He like punches a dude through the hourglass sand and you see the mirror reflected. It looks so cool.
Yeah. The fidelity is only getting better and better because graphics keep getting better and better, but like the thing that people come back to is besides the great gameplay is the incredible storylines. And like every game gets better and more mature and gets taken like, and like they're getting less, remember when we played MK9 and all the women were dressed like really awfully in like terrible outfits, and like everything keeps getting better, and it's like it's becoming like prestige TV. Like this feels like, I would watch this TV show. If this were a TV show, I would watch this, but I get to play it. And that's why video games are great. So much violence. Again, bringing it back, like the combo, the cameo character that we saw, Garrus, was like Darius, who was like just like this ninja guy, and I'm like, nobody gives a shit about Darius, but they're about to make people care about him because that's what games do. It's just like I am so excited. I didn't think I could be more excited for this game. And even if somehow the storyline isn't like it ends up not working, it's still a great fighting game. So like I will have a great time playing this game, which just looks incredible. Looks visceral, looks really fast. I'm so excited.
Well, that's the show.
Whoop whoop! Look at that.
Before we end it, I want to say for Mortal Kombat 1 for that trailer.
Please.
I mean, every time I see a new trailer of these, because like you said, I haven't played MK11 yet. I don't know who this dude is. I'm just like, gimme. I want. And I think I was just more excited about this trailer because I got to see more of Liu Kang fighting and his techniques and everything. I just love that fatality where the dragon logo pops up behind him and he just does this huge energy Kamehameha style blast. I'm like, I want to do this so bad. And even seeing Scorpion, I didn't catch that Hanzo was gone. I didn't catch that. Now that I know it, I'm like, I need to play this game because you guys know I'm a Scorpion man. I love Scorpion. I'm that basic bitch of Mortal Kombat. I don't care. I freaking love Scorpion.
But here's the thing: this is Scorpion. It's just not original Scorpion.
I know, but still,
it is Sub-Zero Scorpion.
Yeah, but I still want to play it because it sounds really fun and interesting. And I also just love how with MK9 and even the what we did with MK10, the story is getting better and better and better. And that normally doesn't happen with fighting games. The fighting games is just like fight. There's a story, but it's not really. No one really cares.
MK changed the game, dude. It really did.
It literally, yeah.
Okay. Wow. Princess Sparkman, that was fun. Happy to catch a live. Yes. Glad you could be here.
I don't remember if we talked about the Homelander and Peacemaker and all them coming to the game too.
We
didn't know.
Yeah, there's Homelander, there's Peacemaker, there's Omni-Man, and then there's Quan Chi and Takeda Takahashi, who are Mortal Kombat characters. But all the bad boys from the DC universe and the boys are coming to this game as well. So like, I cannot wait to be John Cena and have Eagly do a fatality because Eagly will be a fatality. You know it.
Yeah.
Omni-Man and Homelander are interesting because gameplay wise, I'm so curious how different they could play.
Homelander, Omni-Man, I think Omni-Man's going to be much more in-your-face punchy, and Homelander's going to be more range because he's super powerful, but he's more scared to get in close and stuff. So I think he will be more like lasery, keep your distance. Oh man, I'm so excited.
Omni-Man doesn't have the laser eyes, but Homelander does.
And there's definitely people are joking, like, when he's like over Mark and he's like, there's like that scene, like people think that's what's gonna be like the final thing. It's like when you beat like Omni-Man wins, he's gonna be like, yeah, like
that'd be funny.
It's gonna be crazy. And it's J.K. Simmons and it's John Cena. It is all these voice actors coming to play these characters. So it's like John Cena's gonna fight Scorpion, and that's just the world we live in. That's great.
All right, now that's it. That's the whole show, guys. We're not talking about movies and TV show news because we are once again in solidarity with the strike. So maybe be back next week. We're not sure. Probably not. Take it probably a little bit easier on us to with how little news we will be able to cover. Maybe take a week off after every episode is up, but we'll see. But there's plenty of other things you can check out. Of course, check out our website for all the information on what is impacted by the strike, such as Fake Nerds Watch, The Real Score, Miscellaneous, Cinephiles, and in some cases, Animation Station. So check out and stay tuned for more things like Basement Arcade Pause Menu, and Big Nerd Book Club coming back in kind of full force to get all these to kind of still put out things we love when we can't talk about movies.
All new episodes coming out next week.
And of course, check out my show Conversation, which is once again not impacted by the strike. This week I talked to D and Dark, the entire cast of D and Dark. So if you have not yet already, check it out.
Hey, I'm part of that show.
It's true.
Yes, you are. Of course, you can check out our Patreon at TeePublic if you'd like to support us financially, and you can check out all the links and everything's on our website at fictionpodcast.com, which is also linked below. Thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to everyone who watches the rewind, and thank you to everyone who has joined us for the live show. We greatly appreciate your support through that. We greatly appreciate having you here. And of course, thank you to Jeremy Bellucci, the new co-host of The Real Score, which is on a strike-based hiatus. But you can find him at Jeremy Bellucci _Wreck of Time, which is his band, The Wreck of Time. And of course, you can find, he also did the music. He did all the music you heard here today and all the music here for our shows, for all of our shows. You can find his podcast, though, Suburban Proctologist, on Facebook, Suburban Proctologist Official, Instagram at SubProc Podcast. Princess Sparkle Bunny once again in the chat saying, have a great day. Yes, thank you. You as well. Great having you here.
Having a fantastic day today.
And thank you to Mike Patola for our logos and our fun collaborations, which we can't do during the strike, but we'll have you on again soon. You can check him out at Instagram and TikTok at Mike Patola. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Fickner Podcast, ficknerguys@gmail.com. I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find me writing for CBR.com, AtomicGeekdom.com, KaijiRamenMedia.com. Ben?
Well, you can find me posting all about my trip at Super Nintendo World at BenMagnet27 on Instagram, Twitter. Let me just, son of a bitch, it changed to X. God damn it. And well, you can also catch me on TikTok and Threads too. Once again, same screen name, BenMagnet27 everywhere. And of course, you can find me writing for Fusion Gaming Magazine, Old School Gamer Magazine, GoNintendo.com. And like we said earlier, you can find me playing Mary Frankenstein on D and Dark. Newest episode is up. It is in the link below, as well as me talking with Brandon and the cast of D and Dark on Conversation. Check it out. It really was a fantastic, and I am not saying this because I was on the show. I am saying it because I had an amazing time talking about Dungeons and Dragons with my buddy Brandon here. So definitely go check it out. It truly was a fantastic time.
Thank you. Ryan?
Ben, are you actually using Threads? Do you post on it every day?
Not every day, but I do post on it.
Okay, I'm just
curious. I posted yesterday.
Cool. Okay. You can find me never using Threads at DJ Tony Snark 616 because there's just too many social medias. I only need one. And even then, that one's losing me.
Yeah, I needed a substitute, so I moved to Threads. Twitter is inhospitable now, so I'm using Threads more.
That's fair. It's still the best one because all the other ones are like half-baked.
I mean, it's weird because because I have my bunch of social apps and the bird is still there, but once I click on my social apps, and then it just pops up to the stupid X. I'm like, I hate that.
The thing is, you guys can leave now. If people who are watching can leave now, the show's over. But like the thing that really bugs me about Twitter, about this whole X thing is like the algorithm is so screwed up to just have people, and like that's my issue with Twitter. Always been my issue. I'm seeing people I have no interest in following ever, but they're on my feed, and I don't get why. And it's because they're all promoted, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is not what I want.
Yeah,
I still have a good feed, but it has gotten worse. And like the whole thing about a Felony Muskrat going like, oh, we're gonna get rid of all the bots. I have never had more bots start following me, and then the last couple of months, like so many random, like fake beautiful girls follow me. I'm like, oh, this is just like Instagram. It's like no one's real. Everything's about money. And I'm just like, thank God, comic Twitter is just like, we're all just talking about comics and how Twitter sucks.
Yeah, it sucks because like Princess Sparkle, but she's still in the chat. She said, I quit Twitter. Good. And Twitter got so weird. Yeah. And it makes me mad because that's where I met people like Princess Sparkle Bunny and a lot of people in the retro gaming community who were on my show, Basement Arcade Pause Menu. I met them through Twitter. And now Twitter is just bleh. And I'm just like, this friggin' sucks. I hate it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting life.
And look, Danger Dan Juris said, great show, guys. Once again, thanks for the conversation. Can't speak for the others. Ben might be a harder sell, but I'm sure most of us would be happy to come back on.
I appreciate it, but individually this time. So that's going to be the show now. Of course, subscribe to us on your podcatcher of choice. You can find Sparks. You can find Sparks at Sparks Witty, SPRKZ Witty on social medias that we've been bitching about already. And you can, but subscribe to us on our podcatcher of choice. Rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. And until next time you see us, guys. Oh, I didn't have this ready. There it is. Stay fake, nerds.